Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into the mind of one of history's most provocative and honestly most misunderstood thinkers, Friedrich Nietzsche. So get ready to have some of your biggest assumptions challenged.
You've probably heard this one, right? It's maybe the most famous quote from Nietzsche, and it tells you pretty much everything you need to know about his philosophy. He wasn't a guy who was interested in comfort, not at all. He was interested in challenge. He saw struggle not as something to avoid, but as the raw material for becoming who you're truly meant to be.
Yeah, his ideas weren't just gentle suggestions, they were like philosophical bombs designed to wake you up. He really wanted to force people to see the world without any illusions, and the way to do that was to question absolutely everything you've ever been taught to just accept.
So where do we even begin with these philosophical bombs? Well, Nietzsche's whole project really starts with this powerful diagnosis of a huge spiritual crisis that he saw threatening the entire modern world.
Now, when Nietzsche wrote God is Dead, it's super important to understand he wasn't like cheering for atheism. It wasn't a victory cry. It was an observation. He was saying that the entire foundation of meaning and morality for Western civilization, which, had been built on God for centuries, was collapsing.
And pay really close attention to that last part. We have killed him. This famous line, spoken by his character the madman, isn't just stating a fact, it's an accusation. He's saying humanity itself, with all its science and new ways of thinking, had destroyed its own source of universal values, whether we realized it or not.
And Nietzsche warned that this death of God would create this massive, terrifying vacuum. Without that foundation, he predicted, humanity would spiral into nihilism, the state of meaninglessness, of despair, where nothing matters anymore. This was the great catastrophe he was trying to warn us all about.
So, if everything is collapsing, how do you find a way out? Well, before building anything new, Nietzsche knew he had to do some serious demolition work. He had to take apart the very ideas of good and evil to see where they even came from in the first place.
He forces us to ask this incredibly uncomfortable question, right? He didn't just accept morality as a given thing. Nope. He treated it like a crime scene, investigating its origins to uncover the, let's say, hidden motives behind our most cherished values.
And his investigation led him to this pretty radical conclusion, that throughout history, there have basically been two kinds of morality. First, you have master morality. This was created by the powerful, the nobles, who defined good as a celebration of themselves, their own strength, their own excellence. But then came slave morality. This, he said, was born from the resentment of the weak, and they did something really clever. They flipped the script. They inverted the master's values, calling their own weakness a virtue and condemning the master's strength as evil.
But here's the thing. Nietzsche wasn't just about tearing things down. After doing all that demolition work on old values, he offered a brand new, radical path forward for the individual, a way to build something new in their place.
He argued that our deepest, most fundamental drive isn't just to survive. It's what he called the will to power. And this is so key. It is not about dominating other people. It's the drive for self-mastery, for overcoming your own limitations, for becoming more.
And we have to stop here for a second because it is absolutely crucial to understand this point. The Nazis later twisted his philosophy into something monstrous, a justification for racial supremacy and conquering others. But Nietzsche's work was always about the conquest of the self. He would have been disgusted.
So this brings us to his ideal, the Übermensch, or overman. And again, this is not a master race. It's a person, any person, who has become the author of their own life. It's someone who creates their own meaning, totally free from the herd mentality of just accepting what you're told to believe.
So, the whole point is that this is a journey, right? It's a path. It starts by recognizing that crisis of meaning, then questioning the values you've just inherited, then learning to master your own drives, and finally, forging a meaningful life for yourself, completely on your own terms.
All right, finally, Nietzsche gives us this profound and kind of terrifying thought experiment. It's designed to test whether you can truly and completely say yes to life.
He called it the eternal recurrence. Just imagine it. Every single moment of your life, every amazing joy, every heartbreaking sorrow, every boring Tuesday afternoon is going to be repeated in the exact same order forever and ever. There are no edits, no do-overs.
Your honest, gut-level answer to this question? Well, it's everything. It reveals your fundamental attitude towards your own existence. Would you be horrified by that thought, or would you be filled with joy?
See, The goal isn't just to put up with this eternal repetition, it's to love it. This is what he called amor fati, a love of one's fate. It's the ability to embrace every single moment, even the painful ones, seeing them all as necessary parts of the incredible whole that is your life.
So in the end, Nietzsche's philosophy isn't really a system of easy answers. It's a powerful call to action. It's a challenge, really, to stop just coasting through life and to start actively creating a life that is so authentic and so meaningful that you would gladly, joyfully live it again and again.
And that's the ultimate question Nietzsche leaves us with. It's not just some abstract thought experiment. It's a guide for how to live right now. So you have to ask yourself, are you creating a life worth repeating? That is the challenge of Nietzsche.